talk about the crisis at the border is investigative filmmaker and DMLDaily.com editor Dennis Michael Lynch. You and I were talking about the Cloward pivot strategy beforehand. Yes, that was about welfare, but it is a blueprint to achieving a goal, the goal being amnesty.
Yeah. I told you, and I'll repeat it again, I've been covering this for quite some time. And it was a life-changing event for me last week when I was in Texas. Because as I stood at the border and I watched Border Patrol agents chase after families on one side, you just went this far over, and I watched drug cartels pull other people and drugs across on this side. And nobody else was standing where I was standing as any line of defense for these people coming over. Then I went over to the bus depots and watched thousands of illegal immigrants be bussed around as if they were in Disneyland. And one pregnant woman after the next pregnant woman after the next pregnant woman. Now, the big issues in this country, the biggest ones, joblessness, welfare, national security. I just watched those problems go into epidemic mode.
Overwhelm the system.
Okay, epidemic mode. And all I did is sit there and say, the future of this country and the future for our children is literally being destroyed. And I hate sending the chill message out there because I'm not into scare tactics. But I would say, Andrew, that I think our country has officially fallen off the cliff.
Well, so you have to understand one of the things about the group shift is to control the message and make people want the problem to go away. One of the ways to do that is through guilt. So on one side, we're seeing pictures of children when we know the majority of the people coming across are 15, 16, 17. Yeah. The other is you're all racists if you're against this, no matter who you are.
No.
Let's play a clip from, you have a clip here. This is a Border Patrol agent, right. But you couldn't yet obscure his face, right?
Yeah, that was the agreement.
All right, play it.
I have never seen the traffic as dense as it is right now. And essentially, it's creating a much larger national security threat.
So how was it said to you?
It was said that this is the procedure change. It's coming down from the top. They never specify who it comes from. But they said that we're going to be releasing the family units into the United States that are deemed not threats.
There's a lot of important things for me to tell you about this. First of all, that directive came 6 months ago. That's an important thing. That just wasn't...
You mean like organizers might have known this was going to happen?
Yeah, and when those Border Patrol agents heard it, they were like, what? What? And now they're starting to see it in a way. I mean, look, Andrew, being there, I've been there, I was there, I was blown away. I can't even describe it to you how bad it is. And here's what he was saying, is that a lot of gang members and very bad people are hooking up with women and children, actually even threatening them, okay, that they're coming across as family members. So when they come across, they're interrogated by the Border Patrol, and basically there's no disease checks whatsoever. They're just asked, are you sick? And if they say no and you don't have a visible cough, you're just checked off and you're released. If you have a criminal history in the U.S., then, okay, you can't be released. What happens is I walk you to the bridge, halfway over the bridge, and I go back. The Border Patrol agents are telling me they're catching the same guys hours later. They just keep on coming through until they don't get caught anymore. So we're releasing families, which include very, very bad people. Andrew, the saddest part about this is that the majority of Americans have no idea of what is taking place.
Well, again, control it, right? These people are claiming to be refugees. They don't want you anywhere near this, even though you got it. They're telling anyone who shows up at these facilities, don't take pictures, don't talk to anyone. They're controlling the message for the group shift in the media.
Whenever I go down to Texas or Arizona, people, those guys know who I am, and they know that I'm on your show, that I do a lot of Fox, and so they'll give me interviews. This time I called all the different places. Nobody would give me any interviews. Sorry, Dennis, can't do it. Can't accept.
What about some of the lawyers that are racing down there from the Department of Justice? Let me give you a quote from the Cloward pivot strategy. Okay. The advocate's task is to appraise the circumstances of each case, to argue its merits before welfare, to threaten legal action if satisfaction is not given. In some cases, it will be necessary to contest decisions by requesting a fair hearing before the appropriate state supervisory agency. Yeah. So they're saying get lawyers in there. Start mucking up the system with paperwork. Start challenging the Border Patrol. Start challenging legal standing. Just keep them in the system as long as possible.
Yeah, and add to that the new Department of Homeland Security head, Jay Johnson, is a lawyer, and they've just hired a ton of lawyers who all come from pro-amnesty groups. So this is a very important strategy, and when you know everything you're saying here, this is really the first I've heard of this. It's all coming. It's all collapsing.
It's all starting to make sense
now, right? It's all
now,
making a lot of sense.
This has been the template for the American left for about 50 years.
Let me also say something about the kids thing, because I saw this firsthand, and the Border Patrol agents told me, yes, there are some kids coming over, but it is this big compared to the families and the bad people who are coming over. But that's all that's being focused on are the kids.
Control the message
and some of the pictures that get released, they look worse than they really are. When you're in front of these children and you see them, I mean, they almost look like a kid who's waiting to get on Space Mountain at Disneyland. You know that face of like, oh, we still got to wait, but we know it's ahead of us?
That's part of it.
These kids have all experienced
the guilt. Make it go away. Do whatever you have to do so I don't have to see it at night. Make it go away. Create the electoral safe space for politicians to give in, to create amnesty. Make it go away. That's victory. By the way, the word victory is used.
Andrew, I have to tell you that the numbers that are coming in right now, and based on the intelligence that I got from the guys like the Border Patrol guy there, is this is nothing. This is nothing. Entire villages are being emptied out in Guatemala and Honduras, and they're all coming up. And it's just, it's insane. I'm telling you, the scene at the bus station, I asked the Greyhound lady, I said, what was business like on a scale of 1 to 10? What was it 3 months ago? She said, probably a 2 or 3. I said, what's it right now? She said 10 or 11.
Well, they're starting to ship them to Massachusetts. Now, I got to leave it
they're
here.
Shipping everywhere. We're shipping everywhere.
We'll get you back on the program. Thank you so much.